Hey fellas, before we get in the video, I just want to quickly say that I'm not advocating for or encouraging the doxing, targeting, harassment, or bullying of any individuals that we mention or feature in this video, or this is an opinion piece of my particular commentary on the subject matter, however controversial as it may be. So, without I quickly say it, let's go ahead and start the show. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your Panda back in action. Top of the else today, but something else. It's a return to our usually scheduled programming, which is really just talking about furry drama. I mean, honestly, but breaking news: Hypnotist Sappho still lives. She didn't commit suicide after all. Oh my God, it's amazing. It's stupendous. You might even say it's
ho ho ho, it's magic. You know.
Never believe it's not so. It's magic, you know. Jesus fucking Christ. Is there anybody out there in the audience right now that genuinely believed, even like an iota, even like a small fucking percentage of a chance that Hypnotist Sappho actually committed suicide? The red flags were everywhere. The fact that she censored her shotgun, which some people were trying to say that was basically an airsoft rifle. I disagree, because I have seen cheap shotguns. I believe the model was like a Winchester Defender or something like that, but no. Hypnotist Sappho didn't commit suicide. I doubt she was even contemplating it. I'm pretty sure that that was just staged so that, you know, the heat would get off her back and she could like make a break for it and kind of like coast for a while until she was comfortable and good and ready to come back. Assuming she ever left in the first place, because it's entirely possible that she just adopted another one of her alt accounts and decided to, like, you know, coast in plain sight. Just kind of watch things happen and unfold. And, you know, I have to say, the immediate aftermath was that dozens upon hundreds of minors out there all cried in unison. They had dedicated, like, you know, a testament to their dear cult leader, Hypnotist Sappho herself. And they were just mourning the absolute loss felt throughout their whole community because, you know, these kids, right? They were groomed into thinking that they were zoophiles themselves. And if it wasn't true Hypnotist Sappho, she was definitely sort of like the individual that they all pointed to as Mama Sappho, all right? There are hundreds upon hundreds of kids on Twitter right now that have adopted the mark of the beast, the Zeta symbol, and they believe, genuinely believe inside them that they are absolutely zoophiles. You know, and if you try to get into it with them, Lord help you, because, like, they'll all rally together against you. So it's not really worth, like, you know, getting into it with these kids. But at the same time, I wish that somebody could really just pull them aside and, like, lecture them about what they're doing is absolutely terrible, incorrect, and wrong, and abhorrent in every sense of the word. But that's not really you and I's responsibility right now. But as far as Hypnotist Sappho, yeah. The fact that she faked her suicide, faked a very half-assed attempt, but hey, a lot of people on the internet were absolutely on the edge of their seats. You know, they were all just like kind of watching and waiting. They were kind of, some of you were actually hoping for it, but the fact that she didn't, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but she's still alive and well. All right. But me personally, I never wanted her to commit suicide. I genuinely just wanted her to seek the help that she so desperately needs. Now, she left some parting messages, and we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a reading before I continue with the rest of this video, but I figure I might as well just get that whole, like, backdrop out of the way. What's interesting is that some people, like, in the comment section of the prior videos, where I just sort of, like, alluded to the fact that this whole drama took a darker turn, supposedly she ran her ass to Tennessee to, like, kind of, like, coast while the heat was on, to get the heat off her back, you know, and tried to rebuild the shattered pieces of her broken life. But, as far as, like, Hypnotist Sappho herself is concerned, she's tired of the harassment, she's tired of the drama. It's horribly ironic to me that she's, like, citing harassment as part of the problem, but here's the problem with the harassment. It's harassment that Hypnotist Sappho did nothing to sort of, like, you know, mitigate at all in the way that she presented herself, in the way that she responded to her critics, in the way that she sort of, like, responded to the generalized community, in response to anybody reacting to her admitting publicly that she was a self-admitted dogfucker. It's kind of like, okay, you basically picked up a big brick and you lobbed it right at a hornet's nest. Except it wasn't just a hornet's nest. It was like a whole like fucking orchard of hornet's nests. Replace the apples in those trees with nothing but hornet's nests. Now you lob this brick, right? All of the hornets in unison come streaming out and coming at you, and you didn't even bother to put on like a bee suit or anything. You didn't even bring yourself a can of Raid, right? Now, exchange those hornets and wasps into various people on the internet, because this went beyond the furry fandom, alright? Like, everybody got a piece of Hypnotist Sappho. They all could not help but unilaterally express absolute disdain and disgust in response to, like, Hypnotist Sappho and her activities. And we'll get into that, but let's go ahead and skip to the reading, and then we'll go ahead and like catch back up and talk about the before, during, and after of all of this, alright? Back in a sec. So if you're curious as to how I found out, it was just through a cursory glance at her YouTube channel, formerly Hypnotist Sappho, that I couldn't help but notice that there was still some activity going on in the channel. And really, largely, it was through the community post blog, like, feature that you can do. You can leave comments to the rest of your following, but it was kind of surprising to me, because if Hypnotist Sappho had truly died, unless she had like offered the credentials to some other people that were close to her, which I don't think she would do, but not beyond the suspension of disbelief, right? You'll get into why I'm saying that in a little bit here, but she left basically a parting message. Now, this is really part 1 of 2, because she had alluded to the fact that she might offer a continuance to this, but I figure we might as well just read this, and then we can sort of talk about everything that happened from here to there. Alright? So, hi everyone! I thought I would make a final or semi-final community post for the people who don't want to read I'm alive in specialized treatment now and on even more medications. 1. I am alive. I know. Sorry to ruin your mood. I was really close. I had a loaded shotgun pointed into my chest and I was on the trigger. I had decided I was finally done trying and that it really wasn't worth it anymore with the endless harassment. I sent my final messages to my parents and siblings and leaned into that shotgun. At the time, I was in front of a hospital because I was deciding whether or not I really wanted to die or get help. As fate would have it, an SUV ended up pulling next to my car, and there were kids inside. I didn't want to die in front of the kids and ended up breaking down and going inside, where I was transferred to a psychiatric hospital. I let certain people and groups wreck me with paranoia and an extreme depression and thought there was no way out. I was wrong. 2. I am retracting myself from the internet and making it a minimal part of my life. I am literally too dangerous to be socially online for at least a year or 2. I have deep regrets for the way that I have acted over the past year and prior. I should have been far more responsible than I was. I was effectively ethically bankrupt, and I didn't care about who might have been harmed by my message or becoming this figure that people looked up to. Looking back, I wish I had never had any of that. I wish I never had any kind of platform at all. It only ended up hurting people in the end and taking away what sanity I had left. Additionally, my contact with most people has ceased. 3. I have contacted multiple organizations that specialize in treatment for MAPS and paraphiles, including the ATSA, Association for the Treatment and Prevention of Sexual Abuse, B4U Act, and ASAP, International Association for Sexual Abuse Prevention. I am being connected with a specialized treatment provider because even though I have been in therapy for a while now, it has not been enough nor specialized enough. I am not happy with the way I am either. I am also enrolled in an online course called Help Wanted, which is an online course designed for the treatment of individuals who are attracted to minors. I know that I need serious help, and that is why I'm getting that. I recommend anybody else in a similar situation does the same and seeks out help. 4. Please let me die already. I am not that interesting. Anyone who looks up to me, please stop and do some introspection. I am not a mom or mommy. I was a hypnosis hobbyist that got fucked up with what I thought were beliefs, but I now realize are serious medical problems. I have been plagued with impersonators for a while, but from now on, anyone who claims to be Hypnotist Sappho is lying. This post was not made on the advice of a lawyer, and before stupidity makes people create a bunch of conspiracy theories, take something at face value for once. I wish you all the best. Thanks, Valerie. And, she also adds at the bottom of this, everybody is special. Everybody is a hero, a lover, a fool, a villain. Everybody has their story to tell. Alan Moore, V for Vendetta. Well, ain't that just sweet as a pea? And that's all she wrote. Seems almost perfect, don't you think? It's almost as if this was tailor-made, for the internet's, satisfaction. Because this is not the first time that Hypnotist Sappho has ever made the claim that they were actually seeking genuine help at a psychiatric care facility, let alone a hospital. And looking at all this, it just seems like more of the same of what she claimed in the past. And it's just this is pathetic. Okay, if she's gonna go through the kit and caboodle of saying that she pointed the shotgun at her chest, and that the only reason that she hesitated was because a van full of kids pulled up in the parking lot at 4 in the morning. Not saying that's impossible of happening, but at the same time, it seems highly unlikely. That doesn't usually happen. Well, maybe it happens more often than I'd care to admit, but at the same time, it just seems so perfect, doesn't it? And that she's getting all the help and care that she needs. Care that she claims that she's gotten in the past. There's a lot to unpack here, but tell you what. Let's go ahead and have a change of scenery, and we'll get right back into it. All right. Does anyone else find it horribly fucking convenient that Hypnotist Sappho had released her coming out video a year ago on September 11th, and that September 11th, not several days ago, was the year-long anniversary of her coming out that started this whole debacle? I really hope that that's just a coincidence, because if Hypnotist Sappho decided to pick that day in particular, it's not like September 11th has any significance to the United States or anybody that lived more than, several years after the fact and can remember what September 11th means. 9/11, on top of which, it's a day after my mom's birthday, so that's even more of a reason for me to have a sour disposition towards her. But ignoring all of that, what can we extrapolate from all of this? I can go ahead and tell you that Hypnotist Sappho is two things. In the experiences that I've had with her, she is a master manipulator, and she's the grandmommy of all liars, okay? She has lied, she has denied, she has said this, that, and the other, and then after the fact she says, oh, I never said that. Oh, I never claimed that. Oh, these were doctored images. Anybody with Photoshop knowledge, just Photoshop that because I'm worth their time. And then she says in this last post that she's not that interesting. And, that's funny, Hypnotist Sappho, because the way that you behaved, the way that you acted, some of my audience actually pointed this out, that Hypnotist Sappho would go out of her way to sort of shove the fact that she was a zoophile in people's faces and challenge them that they were in the wrong and that she was in the right de facto. And the minute that the harassment got a little bit too hot, that she would say, oh no, it's too much, oh, the haters. And she was still using terminology of antis to refer to people like you and I that don't really find zoophilia to be anything to support, okay? Bearing all of that in mind, I'm going to equate that post that we just read right now on her YouTube to the lies and bullshit, okay? You can say that's the least bit, senseless and, cold of me to do. But considering that this is Hypnotist Sappho, the same Hypnotist Sappho that not a year ago came out saying that she was an absolute zoophile and that we all just need to accept that because the gays and lesbians back in the 60s and 70s faced the same treatment back then as zoophiles face today, and therefore that there's this false equivocation between the two, and that is bullshit, okay? a man loving a man and a woman loving a woman, or a man loving a woman, or a woman loving a man, that doesn't really translate to a man loving a dog, or a dog loving a man, or a woman loving a dog, or a dog loving a woman, cross species and stuff. There is a lack of sentience, with feral animals. And they don't have the same kind of understanding of love, intimacy, and various other things. To them, it's just for breeding purposes. That is why they have a pleasure response, because it's for breeding, okay? For, Hypnotist Sappho to sort of go down the path of defending animals, using terminology and language that PETA would use, because PETA is such a popular organization out there, right? Okay, I get that, but that doesn't excuse you fucking animals, alright? And I genuinely hope, for the sake of any animal that might be in your care, that you do not own a German Shepherd, as you've so wantonly advertised to the World Wide Web, alright? Don't you find it weird that Zeta North America, their symbol, was de facto a German Shepherd? And do you find it weird that Hypnotist Sappho would just express a desire to be with a German Shepherd? Alright, all in the past, right? Hypnotist Sappho is a new individual. They are new and improved. They are getting the help that they, said they were always seeking all this time, even though they've already claimed that back in December and it turned out to be bullshit. She spent maybe a week in a psychiatric care facility against her will, if she can be believed. And I don't think she was really seeking treatment from then to now, because, it was when she officially came back and started the channel up again, unprivated it, and renamed it to formerly Hypnotist Sappho, or just Valerie, or whatever the fuck she wants to call herself these days. Isn't it just a little bit weird that she had legions upon legions of fans that suddenly flocked to her out of the get-go? That doesn't usually just happen overnight. That sort of has to be a culmination of at least a couple of weeks, maybe even months. I had, nobody knows for sure, unless you're one of those minors that flock to her, how long she'd actually officially been back for, because it's entirely possible that she just opted for an alt account during the time that she was gone to reinitiate contact with minors and cultivated herself a little bit of a following, because not days after she came back and she released her video, past, present, and future, that, Coyote Lovely made one comment, one teensy weensy little comment, that this is gonna be funny, and all hell breaks loose. She went after Coyote Lovely all piss and vinegar. It's like that alone sort of contradicted everything that she tried to present in her video. That all she wanted to do was come back and help people, to spread love, care, and affection and joy to the world around her, and that she just wanted all the drama and all of the controversy in the past to go away, because it's just that simple, right? People forgive and forget all the time, right? Well, they would forgive and forget if you legitimately sought the care that you so desperately need, but you don't seem to really want to do that. And this post that you made, this sort of bowing out gracefully, doesn't really convince me, alright? And you could say that I'm the least bit insensitive, that I'm the least bit cold, callous, and whatever. I like to think I'm a pretty warm individual, and I'm pretty empathetic, but in case of Hypnotist Sappho, in the face of her bullshit, the face that, the fact that she had brought out all of these lies, defamation, and, hearsay, double standards, hypocrisy, the whole 9 yards. I cannot in good faith and conscience accept that post, okay? I can't accept the idea that Hypnotist Sappho is legitimately seeking the help that she so desperately needs. I think she just wants the harassment to go away. I am not advocating for the harassment, by the way, but I would say that you should steer clear of Hypnotist Sappho. And various members of the community have been smart enough to sort of recognize her and said, fuck you and your bullshit. That's part of the reason why she got banned off in ESVR. So, the fact that she, started that campaign helped ban Coyote Lovely, that dispelled any notion that Hypnotist Sappho was back here and she was going to do anything positive for the community. She is just as hateful, vindictive, and malicious as she was back then as she is now. And, it seems that this is just sort of a smokescreen. This is something that she can, post up to sort of distance her past bad actions with her today. And, basically dispel any notion that, she's doing any of the activities, even though she probably is. And that there's a dozens upon dozens of hundreds upon hundreds of minors that look to her as a role model, as sort of a symbol for their cause. They are indeed convinced they are zoophiles themselves, and that they latch onto her. And this is the same woman that wanted to be called Mama Sappho. She wanted to bring in all these minors. She wanted to expand their horizons by saying, hey, if the conventional sexualities don't quite vibe with you, you could always be a zoophile and love animals instead. And, it's crazy. She actually came out and she says, actually, humans don't really appeal to me. Animals do. But if that's the case, then why are you flirting with fucking minors? Why did you admit to being in a relationship with a 16-year-old? Why did you say this, that, and the other, and then later on you claim that you're not a zoophile or, a paraphile anymore? Get with the fucking times, Hypnotist Sappho. Jesus fucking Christ. I think somebody that was absolutely schizophrenic on crack could be a little bit more honest than you are, and have been up to this point. And if I'm getting worked up right now, it's because, the memories are rushing back to me about everything that I read then to now, and this is just, another bad joke. And that whole publicity stunt that she pulled with the, quote-unquote, offing herself, yeah, it begs the question why you took the picture of the wheel well, and we only get to see the shotgun, we don't get to see that you're actually, the background. It's pretty well lit in that car. Could have been the daytime for all we know. It could have been, not at night. So, and, her offerings, right? Those pictures of her medication and this, that, and the other. How do we know that that's not stage 2? Because, you might say, well, too, Joe, she can't be lying about everything, right? I'm willing to sort of, extend a courtesy here and say that maybe she was involuntarily committed back in December for a week. I don't think she was actually seeking as much help as she claims she has been because, therapy from then to now, I don't even know if that's going to be enough to, correct the problems. I don't think she's really being honest. I don't think she's being straight up with us, alright? This is the same woman that egged people on. She challenged people to go after her. And when they did, that's when she cried victim. It's the typical narcissistic bully mentality. You, challenge people to go after you because you think you're so untouchable and powerful. And the minute that people do, then you're just oh, it's too much. Oh, woe is me. I'm the victim here. Oh, whoa. So, yeah. I know I'm being a little bit theatric in this video, but, this is just what's coming as a visceral reaction to this. Christ. I didn't really hold my breath when it came out that Hypnotist Sappho had offed herself, in spite of the fact that hundreds upon hundreds of minors out there were unilaterally crying. They are defending, absolutely to the death, Hypnotist Sappho's honor. Even though Hypnotist Sappho, in that post, if it can be believed, is saying, hey, if you're a minor, don't follow me, okay? Don't worship me, don't worship the ground I was on. It's and even worse than all of this is the fact that she went after Coyote Lovely so hard, pulled his docs, released personal information that, Coyote Lovely's ex-partner had released to the internet at large to embarrass Coyote Lovely and try to, cut at his reputation. And, she wantonly, openly, advocated for somebody to, firebomb his house. Okay? That wasn't just a hee-hee, joke. That was a fucking, invitation to try to cause harm when she felt like they actually had his home address. Okay? And, I know I'm drawing all this from the past, but here's the thing. You judge somebody's past behavior, and if it's, repeated over and over and over again, does that not indicate a pattern, right? Remember Hypnotist Sappho went into hiding, the first time around? She reappears on Nia's VR, acts like nothing happened, and she gets banned, and she's like, oh my god, this is gonna be following me for the rest of my life. I better off myself. And then, the worst thing about that is, right? When she, offed herself, and everybody was sort of on the fence, it's did she do it? Did we check the obituaries? Is there any indication that somebody by the name of Valerie, Arden or whatever, off themselves? And nobody found any results in the obituaries. And days later, there was a half-assed message that was allegedly from Hypnotist Sappho's partner, saying that, hey, Hypnotist Sappho died effective Saturday. Do not reach out to this account for further questioning or anything like that. And it's like, if you're a bereaved loved one that is speaking of somebody that just committed suicide that you were in love with, don't you think that would have been a little bit more emotion than this flat, dry message just saying, oh yeah, they committed suicide on Saturday, don't reach out to this account, this is not one of Hypnotist Sappho's alts, just like wanted to clear the air and let you all know, let the wider community know. Oh boy. Yeah, that was the first indication that Hypnotist Sappho was full of bullshit. I mean, one of many. This has been an ongoing saga. So, I make this video partly as sort of like concluding the saga at large, that Hypnotist Sappho, right? I said in a prior video that my father, he taught me some valuable advice in the past. One of my favorite messages from him is that there's 3 kinds of good in this world. Alright? There's good. There's no good. And there's no fucking good. Hypnotist Sappho is obviously the latter category, because she's going to remain, in my eyes, a habitual pathological liar, a master manipulator, somebody that you really don't want to get close to. She got sexual gratification from having sexy times with minors while they were under the influence of her seductive wiles and charm after being hypnotized. And, you know, I will say this, like, she was a decent hypnotist, but the fact that she's a zoophile and a self-admitted map and now a paraphile, I still think that paraphile is just a convenient fallback for her to, like, mask any fucked up, like, fetishes and kinks under that. Namely the bestiality, namely, like, her being a zoophile, namely her being a map and into minors, underneath that nice little, like, label, so that she can sort of, like, hide behind that. It's like, I'm a paraphile. The fact that she's still referring to people like you and I as antis is indicative of the fact that she's still kind of fucked up and thinks that being a zoophile or a map is completely a-okay. Okay? As far as, like, the whole war between her and Coyote Lovely managed to just sit back and relax while she was, like, exerting all this effort, as if she had nothing left to lose in the world at all. She had nothing left to lose. She had, like, you know, the respect and, like, you know, I guess, like, admiration of the various minors that had, like, you know, flocked to her cause. And she had all of this going for her, right? But she was willing to throw all that out the window if it meant nailing Coyote Lovely to the wall, which he got unbanned off of Twitter, so congratulations. All you did was successfully piss everybody off even more than they already were. So, good job, Hypnotist Sappho. It really shows your true mode of character. The fact that, like, you know, even if this is the one time that you were being sincere in that YouTube post, I don't think anybody's really going to give it a rat's ass, consideration, considering that in the past, leading up to this point, nobody just unilaterally does a 180 and, like, has an epiphany moment and says, you know, maybe I've been doing some really bad things, because I have fucking heard it from you before, okay? You're full of bullshit. Fuck off. You're already probably lining up some alt accounts. In fact, you know, you'd be interested to know, dear audience, people are already pointing out various alt accounts that have been cropping up on, like, you know, Twitter right now. So, is this the last that we're going to be seeing of Hypnotist Sappho? I don't think so, but her voice is pretty recognizable, right? Like, it's pretty hard to alter and adjust, unless Hypnotist Sappho is a damn gifted voice actress. So, I highly doubt it, but, yeah. So, what's the TLDR? What's the moral of the story? In terms of Hypnotist Sappho, I don't think she's one of those success stories where the community convinced somebody to just change their ways because they were a dastardly individual, right? I don't accept this apology, if you want to call it that, this final goodbye that she's moving on with her life. I don't think her ego and, like, her personality will lend itself well to that. She thrives on that sense of, like, living dangerously, right? She wants to have the admiration of those minors that flock to her as Mama Sappho. And she's probably just going to adopt a new, like, identity and then, like, return to her old ways, business as usual. Give it a couple months, right? Give it a couple months, because routinely I see people like this all the fucking time. They say, hey, it has been several months since I contacted a minor, therefore I am on the straight and narrow. I'm never going to be associated with minor no more. You know, I'm going to be a contributing member of society. You'll see. You'll all see. And then 6 months down the road, they're caught in the next big scandal. So if you want to believe Hypnotist Sappho's final message, final goodbye, whatever she wants to call it, be my guest. All I can do is advise you that she, being a master manipulator and a master grandmommy of all liars, that's the one thing that I will say about Hypnotist Sappho, right? She is the absolute grandmommy of all liars. Given everything I know about her, that's the one thing I could say. Ain't you the grandmommy of all liars? Because, everything that she would say, just, right? She would either contradict herself or her actions would contradict her own words, her own message. Everything that she conveyed to the wider audience that she had cultivated up to that point. And it begs the question why Kiwi Farms and various other people out there had gone out of their way to sort of shine the spotlight on her dirty deeds up to this point, you know? You can't make this shit up, yo. And that whole, rigmarole spectacle. Naito Okami. I'm trying to remember who this, what their actual... Naida Okami, I think, actually. They're a crazy individual that genuinely believes they're a German Shepherd. I don't have all my facts straight about this individual. I do remember they were causing a little bit of a storm because when Hypnotist Sappho officially went into hiding back in December, Naida Okami was one of the few people that was perpetuating the drama and trying to pull damage control for Hypnotist Sappho. And she actually went on the farms to try to plead Sappho's case, and the Kiwi farmers at the time were just kind of blowing her off and saying fuck off. Go somewhere else, die in a ditch, whatever. But, I'm actually curious where Becca Husky wound up. Is it any wonder that the Zoophiles and the Zoophile community at large pretty much turned their backs on Hypnotist Sappho? Deny any association, distance themselves from her, budding organization, Zeta North America, and, cease to vouch, public support for her? It's because that Hypnotist Sappho and her activities were becoming too well known and too publicized. You had people like Turkey Tom making videos about Hypnotist Sappho, right? You had Tom Dark making videos about, I think they're one and the same person, but even Lanza, not just a couple of days ago, made sort of a remembrance video about all of the fucking drama that happened with Hypnotist Sappho from start to finish. And he even mentioned me, which, kudos to you, Lanza. Thank you. But it was funny that the one thing, I know you all are waiting with bated breath for my response video to Hypnotist Sappho. Fuck it. I'll do it. I'll do it in the near future. I've just been so fucking busy with personal projects and work and, being a functional adult that just, all this sort of stacks. But goddamn, when I found out that Hypnotist Sappho was posting again on her YouTube channel, I just had to, stick another fucking iron in the, coal pit because fucking A. Of course she would, come back, refute anything that she had said leading up to that final goodbye to make another final goodbye. Except saying that, hey, I'm still alive and I'm getting the help I need. No need to look into my history or past anymore. Bye! Not convincing at all. Bad form. F-. See me after class, Hypnotist Sappho. You suck. Go fuck yourself. Fuck you and your bullshit. Yeah. It's funny because apparently she was citing the fact that that's from an anime like Devil Crybaby or whatever. I watch good anime, okay? I don't watch anime that dogfuckers and zoophiles watch. Nah, I'm just kidding. If you all like the anime, that's fine. It's just not one of the... anime as a genre of media that exists. There are thousands upon thousands of different anime out there, and for me to automatically recognize what anime that picture of the angel was from, well, it's not really an angel, it's actually the devil, but for me to automatically recognize that at even a passing glance, right, and calling me stupid for not recognizing that, like, I've just never seen it, okay? I don't think that's really a basis to judge somebody's, like, intelligence or stupidity, but okay, Hypnotist Sappho. I'm sorry I'm not, like, intellectually based as you are, okay? Just for me not knowing that anime. I tend to like things like Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, and, like Gotcha Man and Dragon Ball Z and some other things. Good anime. Tenchi Muyo, classic. Outlaw Star, also classic. Robotech, Gundam Wing, Mobile Suit Gundam. Clearly, I do not have the class or sophistication that Hypnotist Sappho possesses in having watched that particular anime, but fucking A. Alright, so you all want it. I guess I'm gonna have to do it now. Sorry I let it slide for so long, but I'm a busy man, alright? I know a lot of people. I'm trying to maintain something resembling a social life and be just as much there for my friends as they are for me, so yeah. But we got a lot of topics of interest to talk about. This is just one of several that I wanted to get to before we get into the nitty-gritty of various other things going along. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, I wouldn't believe the hype. I wouldn't buy into Hypnotist Sappho's bullshit. Just look at the post, nod your head, smile if you have to, and move on. Remain vigilant that Hypnotist Sappho doesn't return in another form and starts going back to their, usual antics, because I don't think they're being sincere and genuine with actually seeking help. It's nice that they're citing all these various organizations, these alphabet soup organizations, or NGOs and such, and just organizations dedicated to helping mitigate or avoid pedophiles or zoophiles or whatever, operating in the general public. But at the same time, this is the same woman that has to date, from the very start in her coming out video till today, she has been intellectually dishonest. She has been dishonest in her personal interactions with various people. She's been dishonest with her critics. She's been dishonest with just about anybody and everybody that is associated with her. So, yeah. Not exactly a testament to her being... If you want to throw all that out the window and say that her last post on YouTube is absolutely good as gold, absolute honesty, can be taken at face value, that is your prerogative. I'm not going to buy it, okay? I am not accepting it. I am giving it the thumbs down, all right? Like Nero, the emperor before me, I'm flipping my thumbs down. I'm just no. I don't buy into that bullshit, okay? I'm not buying it. So, it remains to be seen where this is going to go, but hopefully this is the conclusion of the Hypnotist Sappho drama. You know how many videos I've made about Hypnotist Sappho? Right, just go through my channel. One of them was recently, struck for being, a violation of community guidelines, and I appealed it because I'm just I mention suicide. I don't advocate for it. In fact, I discourage it because I think suicide is terrible, all right? I would accept Hypnotist Sappho if she would just, accept that she's getting the help she needs and, leave it at that. I wouldn't, go out of my way to make friends with her or anything like that. But, I would, throw all this consternation, all this, me, sort of, condescending to her and stuff out the window if it meant she was getting the help that she so desperately needs, but she's not. But yeah, all that to say... I think this is more of the same old bullshit, alright? But all those videos, right? I'm really hoping that this is the end of the saga. I don't want to be making videos about Hypnotist Sappho to the end of time. I will make that response video though. Because never rub another man's rhubarb. She kind of insulted me. I'm not taking that line down, especially from a self-made dogfucker like her. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Till next time, guys, take care and peace. I hope you all have a better one. Hey fellas, thanks for watching the video today. I really hope you all enjoyed it. Or did you care hit that like button to subscribe for more? You know I really appreciate that, right? And hey, if you're in the mood for gaming, why don't you check me out on Twitch sometime? Link in the description below. Anyway, till next time guys, take care and peace. I hope you all have a better one.